just inspired me. I want everyone to just take a moment and close your eyes for just a moment. Because it took me somewhere. I want you to catch the vision of who you are. Just be willing for a moment to catch the grand vision. Who am I? What's Spirit's vision of who you are? Just for a moment, catch it. Yes. Now say, I am willing. And come back here. That vision that you just caught, Spirit's vision of your life, are you going to have to stretch a little bit to stand in it?
Yes.
Who's going to have to stretch? Who's going to have to grow a smidgen and change a smidgen to stand in that vision? We are all here to change every moment, every day. We have the opportunity to change, and so often we resist it. I want to be that vision. I want to be the vision and walk with you in the vision that you just caught. And that was just a millisecond as you sang that so beautifully. Thank you, Arne, so much. If we can own that we can catch the vision at any given moment and be willing to stretch, we must stretch to stand in change. Now, I have to tell you, if inner visions, and I am writing it today, now that I'm cracking up. I almost want to say, can you just bring it in here so I can read it? I'm teasing. Because I'm not sure when I wrote it, so it may be the same, but it may not, because I've changed since I wrote that article. Right? We can only be where we are at one given moment, and we must be willing to know that that's going to change by the next time that we write it, say it, speak it, be it. How many of you know that 5 years ago, if you think about it for a moment, 5 years ago from right now, how many of you know how much you've changed?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I'm not even the same person that I was 5 years ago, and either are you. I love that little hand in the way back. She's like, oh yeah, I have. I've changed so much. You've probably gotten a lot taller in the last 5 years, huh? Because when we're willing to stretch and know that we didn't come here to just be one thing, we came here to be the glory of Spirit of God, and that is an ever-evolving process. That does not just mean we come out, we're birthed, and then we got it done. The seed of transformation resists right there. It's right there within us. If we just remember over and over and over again, with every breath, we have the opportunity to remember with every breath. We get to change and stretch and grow. Now, this very amazing thing happened to me recently, and it brought me back to the remembrance of how important it is to be willing to change. As many of you know, I live way up in the mountains, and one of my most favorite things to do is to go running in the mountains, where I usually don't even run into anyone except a lot of critters, but it's deep in the mountains. And then when the big winter storm hit, something occurred. I couldn't go running for a couple of weeks because it was pouring rain, and I knew there was a high probability that I could slip in the midst of it because it's all big, just huge trails. So I waited till the storm passed, and I waited for a few days afterwards, and something inspired me to, I think today's a good day. I bet you the trails are probably dried out. So I get to the mountains, and as I come around to the very beginning of the trailhead, all of a sudden I literally get stopped in my feet, and I just stand there like, this wasn't here 2 weeks ago. There's a huge pond in the middle of the trail, the size of this room, huge pond right where the fire trail exists, where I usually go running down. So I stood there for a minute and thought, okay, this wasn't here 2 weeks ago. And then the next thing you know, the most amazing thing occurred ever, which is I started to hear this beautiful sound. Do you know what it was? It had not been heard in these mountains in years. It was the sound of running water right through the center of the mountains. It was like, it took my breath away. I just stood there and went, oh my gosh, there's running water coming down through the mountains because it hasn't rained like this in years. So in the midst of this massive, huge pond that I was originally thinking, how am I going to get around this? This is big. I thought I was going to get wet today. I'm going to get drenched trying to get through this pond. But the sound of this water running through the mountains was just breathtaking. And I just stood there for a few moments like, oh, thank you, God. This wasn't here 2 weeks ago either. The earth had changed since I'd been there. So I got courageous because I thought, okay, I am unstoppable, and I will not be stopped by a something that looks like a large lake. I do know how to swim, and it's not that deep. Maybe only a couple feet. So I went around it and got all the way around and thought, okay, so I have to keep going. So I went farther down the trail, and I started to jog, thinking all is good, and I came around the corner, the next thing you know, there's the trail is gone again, and this massive tree has fallen from the top of the mountain across the entire fire trail. Again, I'm not kidding you, this is a fire trail. Fire trucks come up this mountain. And the entire thing is covered with this huge tree. And I look up, and I can see where it snapped. It completely broke, this massive tree, and tumbled down onto the trail and covered the entire thing. Again, it looked like I wasn't going to be able to pass. I did tell you I am unstoppable. I was looked at this tree like, okay, this could be tricky. But the beauty was, again, something had occurred that wasn't there prior. And I realized that that tree couldn't withstand the unbelievable storm and the winds that had come, and it couldn't bend. And it snapped and tumbled down. And as I went through it, because I started to crawl underneath it to get to the other side of the fire trail, I noticed that all these seeds of new birth for new trees would be coming were landed on the trail. So as this tree snapped, pieces of it were still left to be birthed again. So I came through the other side and thought, oh, thank you, massive tree, for still giving us more. Continue down the trail a little farther. This time, thank goodness, lots of times I could be looking up and running. Thank goodness I happened to look down, because I came across, and all of a sudden, halfway through the path was this huge sinkhole. Massive sinkhole, like 20 feet down, that I would have went tumbling down, and you also would be looking for me right now. Because it was deep, and I stopped and went, oh my goodness, where did this come from? Like, this was not here 2 weeks ago either. The thing was, every point of that mountain had shifted in the midst of those few weeks that I wasn't there. Everything had changed. And do you think the mountain was upset by it? There was no upset. There was no, oh no, we can't change, we can't move, we got to keep everything the same. This mountain adjusted. It just shifted. It became more aware and grew into something else. Around the other side, huge boulders had come down or in the middle of the path. I had to go up and around the boulder and keep going. The point was, the earth keeps changing, doesn't it? It keeps changing. We have this beautiful example of the earth is changing. We are connected to it. Can we learn, as the earth changes so well, to adapt and bend and become more pliable as it is and rejuvenate our souls? We have this opportunity. So I came back from that run that day and thought, okay, what was it about that mountain that I can learn from, that I can take, that it just gifted me with? So I came up with 3 things. I'm sure there are more, but I'm going to give you 3 today. Now the first one is, that mountain was not moved, in other words, did not forget who it was just because the storm came. It shifted, it changed, but guess what it was still connected to? Source, Spirit, God. It was still rooted to the center of the earth in spiritual truth. So it wasn't changed by the storm happened, that the dynamics of it changed, but the core of it was still connected to the center of the earth. Does that make sense? So we must remember we are connected to an unchanging love, which is God. We have this amazing gift that Spirit is not changing. We are. And if we could lean into that truth and know, wait a minute, I'm connected to something that is changeless, that it is love, that it is unlimited, that there's always more of it, then it's okay for me to change and shed an old skin, because there's still more coming down the pike. But we must be rooted to the truth of that one presence, one power, one spiritual truth. And as we are rooted to it, we can literally take our own energetic roots and just go into the earth and remember, whew, I'm rooted to a power that is bigger than my physical presence. So it's okay if I have to change a little and shed something that no longer fits. The second thing is, we absolutely must be willing to bend and be flexible. If we're unwilling to bend, we will stay stuck. Right? That tree, for whatever reason, could not bend any longer, and it snapped. But we have an option to remember, if I can bend in the midst of the storm, I can always come back to my divine center and core. But we must be flexible and fluid in our changes, because then we know it's safe to let go of our old sense of self that we no longer need. If we are rooted to the core and we are willing to be flexible and bend, we can move through anything. We can move through anything. Think of it as the rigidity sometimes that occurs for us that keeps us unmovable, correct? If we're rigid, if you look at someone in a situation, no, this is the way it has to be and this is the only way it has to be, then we become rigid. And so we operate from this field of awareness that is limited by its very parameters because it's a rigidity to it. We must open our perspective and be willing to bend and see beyond this. Because so often we're headed in this direction. This was a huge growing edge for me, that I would always think it was a good thing that when I said I was going to do something, I did it, and I just kept going like this. And I had to learn over the years to open up my perspective to think, okay, I think I'm headed that way, but the path may take me this way and this way through bending and being flexible to listening to spirit to still get there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But if we're not willing to bend, we will stay stuck. So we must allow that space of, like the storm is coming, to how can I be rooted and move and remember who I am. And the third thing is we must absolutely stay awake and aware. We're living in a world that is changing so fast. So fast. And if we're not awake and aware and adaptable to our own inner self's changes, then we could still be stuck in the story of who we were before. How many of you know that you've had a story that you've been carrying that you do not want to carry out of here? That you can say right now, you've outgrown it. You don't have to carry the story out of here if you choose to remember, wait a second, I'm awake. If I'm awake and aware, and I'm flexible, and I'm rooted to the truth of an unstoppable presence, it's safe to let go of the story that got you here. But right now, you've just outgrown it if you know you do not want to carry it. If you know you don't want to carry it, I'm inviting you today to just, before you walk out this door, that you state, I'm willing to let it go. Can we just repeat that, please? I'm willing to let it go. I'm willing to take the gems with me.
I'm willing to take the gems with me.
I accept that change is a good thing.
I accept that change is a good thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I ask that we could just move through this day and know, wait a second, if I am willing to grow and change, what is next? Because you see, if we're living in the overflow, which we are, there is no cap to spirit. God does not say, okay, I've given you all that, I'm not going to give you any more today. That's it. That's not how it goes. It's literally like there's always more. Who was in the meditation this morning? Did you sense there was this, thank you for being here, because there was just this depth in it that I kept feeling like, this is so rich. This is so rich. There's always more. It's just such an interesting journey to remember that we don't run out of anything. That in spirit is always giving. There's always more. That source energy is unstoppable in itself, and it is always in the overflow. If we are willing to open our hearts and stand with a flexible spirit and know, wait, it may seem tight over here. I'm not seeing it come this way, so I'm opening my heart, and it may come in an overflow over here. But we must be willing to widen that perspective. In the middle of the meditation, all of a sudden I had this I was feeling this richness of, oh, it's just so deep that we already are enough and there's more coming. That I had this visual of both of my children this week did something expansive. They both did something expansive. My daughter got up and sang at college in front of all these people, this beautiful song. My son posted something on Instagram where he was dancing like a maniac, and I thought, well, good for you. Like, you're both stretching past a paradigm. And so I had this like, okay, how beautiful. They're both creative artists expressing like wild. And this they didn't know a year ago.
Wow.
That wasn't them a year ago. But they're so rooted in knowing that they are willing to grow. Just like that beautiful little being that back there that was the first one to say, yes, I've grown. As we stay longer on this planet, can we still know it's okay to still be growing?
Yes.
It doesn't matter if we're 10, 20, 50, 70, 100, we can still say, I'm willing to grow today. Because there's something each and every day that you can grow in. And I charge you this day, from this point onward, that your sense of willingness expands to say yes to it. Yes, I'm willing to grow this day and know more than I did yesterday. Because I want to see you all back here in 6 months, a year, 5 years, and this is going to be much bigger, and you'll be looking for a seat to know that, wait a second, we are growing.
Yes.
And in that growing, we evolve together.
Yes.
And in the presence of one another, you remember for the other who they are on their growing edge. So if someone's walking with you and they've forgotten who they are, and maybe they say to you, oh my goodness, this hard time, and name themselves as it, I invite you to stand in the presence and know the truth for them in that moment.
Yes.
That we don't have to agree with mediocrity, that we are more than that. So from this moment onward, your stretch is in a continual process, yes?
Yes.
From this moment onward, you're not even in yoga class and you are stretching today.
Yes.
Because sometimes I fall all over the place in yoga class. So right here, I'm really good at this stretch right here. I can run through the mountains, but I don't know what happens sometimes. I kind of come tumbling in the warrior position. I can't figure that out yet. So continue to allow yourself to stretch so boldly that you don't recognize your face when you look in the mirror next week. Or the week after. Because you're looking into your soul. And your soul is evolving and growing and changing. And I charge you to be more tomorrow than you are today. And whatever that piece of that story is that you are not taking out of you, we all agreed, when you exit those doors today, it stays here. Yes?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm so grateful for that. Good. How you guys feeling?
Good.
Lovely. Can I take us to prayer? Yes, I love that, yes. Everyone take a huge deep breath. I want you to catch that vision you caught when I first began. Catch that vision again. Hold it right there. Just say, I'm willing to be this. Allow your heart to expand this day. For this, I am grateful. For this moment in life, I am so grateful. For there is no other moment like this moment, that this moment has come to us for this perfect configuration of individuals in this room to just know the truth boldly. That there's one power, one presence, and that it is illuminated through each and every one of us. And we celebrate that today. We celebrate our diversity, our changes, our stretches. We celebrate our let go. For as we know, we live connected to this power and presence that is unstoppable. It's easy to let go. For in our knowing that we are grounded and centered to that one power and presence, we are practicing our flexibility and fluidity and staying awake and alert to what is before us. That we can let go and know that that vision and so much more is ours right now, that it's just absolutely being activated. I bless us all. And I bless Soul Center, and I'm so grateful for the consciousness that resides here. And I know it is expanding and growing, and we welcome that. We welcome all the growth, all the change, all the let go, for we know and accept that it takes us to that highest vision fulfilled, that we're living that now, beyond the past story, beyond anything we thought we were to be. We allow the truth of our beingness to rise up and walk with us now. For this I give abundant thanks and joy overflowing, as may we live amplified in the knowing that all is magnificent. And for this I give such sweet let go of trust. Let go. That it brings me peace together to say, and so it is. Amen. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for that love. Hello, ushers. I love this. In this moment of our wonderful time at Soul Center, we practice the law of circulation. And I just want you to know that as we live in our own stretch, I'm inviting you to stretch today. Because as we trust spiritual universal truth, that as we give, so we receive, I just bless your tithe to this wonderful center and the growth that it brings to all of us for our programs and for all the gifts that we so generously receive here. So thank you in your tithes and go forth, please. I love it.